Hello again. Welcome to another episode of Behind My Vinyl. And I'm talking about Christmas albums that I own. I own many other albums. I'm not just a Christmas album collector, but since I'm starting this show kind of pre-Christmas, that's what I'm sharing first. And I'll get into some of my other albums, some of the other albums that I value in my collection. This next album I'm going to share references the geek in me. For those of you that don't really know me personally, or if you did, you would know that I am a really big geek. In fact, I've been running a podcast now for 11 years called the Sci-Fi Diner Podcast, and I'm also a part of a podcast called The Orbital Sword. It's a science fiction fantasy book review podcast. The Sci-Fi Diner, we interview celebrities, as well as we also talk about movies and TV shows that we're into. I've been doing that for 11 years and absolutely like 500, 600 episodes. So vinyl is fairly new for me beyond that. But I want to talk about a vinyl that I own that comes because of my love of all things Star Wars. I ran into an album that I picked up at the Linux Music Company called Meco Star Wars. And it was a disco Star Wars. And I thought, this is phenomenal. And I talked about the Christmas disco album that I own. And it's actually sitting behind me somewhere on the record wall. I don't care. Maybe it's directly, right there it is, directly behind me. And again, I'm not a huge fan of disco, but I picked up this, you're going to think I am because I've reviewed 2 disco albums or talked about it. This album is not a disco album, but I got this album because I picked up the Star Wars disco album, and it was phenomenal. I loved it. Well, I had the album at school. I'm a school teacher, go Comets, and I had the album at school, and I was talking to one of our tech guys, Alex Lagunas, who's also an avid vinyl collector, and we were talking about Meco's Star Wars. He said, you know that Meco also produced a Star Wars Christmas album. And I'm like, no way, I've got to get a hold of it. I was actually looking for it on red vinyl, because rumor has it, according to Alex, that they did produce it in Mexico on red vinyl. The copy I have is not red vinyl, but I did manage to get a hold of it, thanks to Discogs. And this is Star Wars Meco's Christmas album, Christmas in the Stars. And it even features the original voice of Anthony Daniels, C-3PO and R2-D2, featuring the original cast, those 2 people. So it's a funny album. It's great. It's definitely geeky in references. It has songs like Christmas in the Stars, Bells, 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 Sleigh Ride, Merry Christmas, and I'll include some of the tracks below so you can check it out yourself. But it's a Star Wars Christmas album, and it's better than the holiday special for those of you that know what I'm talking about. So that's the story behind this vinyl, behind my vinyl, and why I like this vinyl. And I do enjoy listening to it as a part of, and having a part of my collection, especially being that I'm such a Star Wars nerd. Do you own this vinyl? Have you heard of this vinyl before? If so, please let me know in the comments. If not, you can let me know that as well in the comments, and I'll include some tracks from YouTube in the links below so you can check it out for yourself.